Should the federal government declare National Election Day a paid federal holiday to guarantee all working-class citizens the time to vote? Why or why not? Yes. Other countries do it and it improves voter turnout. The federal government can only make it a paid holiday for federal workers, right? Mitch McConnell said back in 2019 that this would be a power grab for Democrats. The GOP will fight to stop it tooth and nail. Federal holidays gives federal workers a day off. Not all citizens. In my state, every registered voter is sent a ballot in the mail, and we can vote it at home when we have time to study the candidates and issues and return the ballot when it is convenient for us, with a minimum of fuss and time spent. That's the system that should be adopted everywhere. The people it would help already have time to vote. The people who struggle to have time to vote are still going to have to work. Even if it's a federal holiday, the world is still going to need running. You need food, electricity, internet, fuel, health care, etc. to keep running. People who travel for work will still be on travel. A large portion of the lowest rung of society will still need to work. Meanwhile, it makes it slightly easier for your white-collar office worker to vote, but it's not hard for those people to vote now. They already have jobs which make it convenient to vote. That doesn't mean it's hopeless. There's options, like changing election day to election week, including a weekend, for example. Making mail-in voting more frictionless, as another. And I'm sure other people smarter than me have other good ideas. But another holiday which the people who would struggle to get time off still wouldn't get off. Doesn't do much. No, because declaring something a national holiday / does not / guarantee people get that day off. I get some federal holidays off, I don't get all of them off. Election day wouldn't become one of the ones I get off, just do national vote by mail. It fixes all of your problems without trying to force people to do stuff they don't want to do. I thought most countries have elections during a free day, usually weekend. Where are you from? I think it would be less effective. People would want the holiday to do their own thing. That I think it would make sense to have more, smaller polling stations though. I live in the UK. I can walk to my polling station after work. A paid federal holiday would just become a retail sale day, forcing more working-class people to work rather than less. Republicans love low voter turnout. That's how they win. Working-class citizens are the ones most likely to be working on a national holiday. In my state we have early voting. 2 full weeks before Election Day, including all of both weekends. We also have mail-in voting. That seemed way more flexible than making it a paid holiday, since you're still locked into that single day. If you wanted it to be a paid holiday in addition to what we have, I'd be for that. It wouldn't work nearly as well as you think. If it were declared a national holiday, at best it would be thought of as seriously as President's Day or MLK Day, which is to say federal employees would have off, but no businesses except banks and trading houses closed their doors on those days, so most private sector employees don't have off. It would be much more effective to just have multiple voting days, a voting week, even to guarantee everyone has some time to get to the polls. They should, and they don't, because they don't want the working class to vote. Republicans have specifically kept trying to change voting laws to require people to bring more and more forms of ID and requirements beforehand to dissuade them from voting. Yeah, making it a federal holiday would let more working people vote without having to beg for time off or lose pay. A little weird asking Reddit a federal question on a global app. But to answer the question, my country gives us many methods on how to vote. If that could be used and trusted, a whole day seems overkill, typically though it's on a weekend too, which sure some people work then. But again, alternate methods exist. Yeah, it should be a holiday so working people can actually vote without losing pay or using PTO. Completely unnecessary. Here in Germany we have already figured out the correct answer to this a long time ago, just hold all political elections on Sundays. Problem solved. Yes. And extend early voting for 2 months before. And allow mail-in votes to count as long as they were sent by the election day. And automatic regeneration when you turn 18 and updates whenever you update your address. And allow for updates to your registration up to the moment you vote. And increase the number of polling stations so that everyone has easy access and no line to wait in. The whole point is to make it easy as possible for people to vote. I'm not opposed, but in no way do I think it will fix anything in a significant way. There are always people working somewhere on federal holidays. The capitalists run the country and they don't need to give out paid holidays. It should be implemented, but it won't be. Republicans want to suppress the vote, not encourage it. At this stage, if we still have elections period, I'll take it. Yeah, why not? Voting is a good thing. Because the majority wouldn't get to vote. Just make it a week long and accept mail-in ballots. Even federal holidays, a lot of people still have to work. They should, but they won't. Absolutely, a great idea. I know a lot of people who are scheduled to work most of the day on voting days and literally cannot afford to take the time off to vote. Then there's no reason to have mail-in or early voting. In the UK, polling stations are open 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can also vote by post, or nominate a proxy to vote for you. I feel like this covers all the bases adequately, not that I'd mind another holiday. We tried to do this a few times, but funny enough, the fucking politicians crushed it whenever we got close. Yes. And the Republicans will never allow it. Their strategy is predicated on making it hard to vote. AKA suppression. But think of the shareholder value/S. Yeah, that is a solid idea. More people would actually be able to vote if they got the day off. Yeah, it should be a paid holiday so working people can actually vote without losing pay or time off. Personally, I prefer the holiday because I like to vote in person and see my neighbors and such. I'm 64 and was working class union. I never had an issue voting in person, where I live polls were always open at least 12 hours, but I get it's a hardship for some that I think it needs to be all or nothing though. If we get the holiday, then it needs to be all in person except legit absentee ballots. If there's a holiday, then no mail-in voting, or, we could do it like Washington State does it where it's all mail-in voting. If we did that, then no need for the holiday. Yeah, it would let more people vote without losing pay or having to rush after work. While I oppose mandatory voting, I think it would be ideal to make Election Day a national holiday. People shouldn't have to jump through hoops with their work schedule to vote. There's already a shit ton of federal holidays that are not recognized by most Gen Pop businesses, so no. We go to work on Columbus Day while federal workers enjoy the day off on our dime. Yes, because voting is essential to representative democracy and allowing businesses to inhibit voting impinges in that core right. Australia doesn't. We just do it on a Saturday. And those who will be working get a month of early voting. Plus postal voting. All you need is ID. Which is incredibly easy to get. No, people already have more than 2 weeks to vote where I live. Also, the people you want to help vote on that day will likely be hurt the most by this. More people will be off, so that means that more people will have to work to provide coverage to handle those extra people. Retail and food service workers, for example.